Okay guys, let's try to do something fancy with our flow blockchain. So let's start by creating a new project. I will use WebStorm and we will simply bootstrap a React application using create React app, and then we're gonna add all these necessary packages from npm and what's not. So also, in order for this to work, you will need to install several things. So if you will go to docs on flow, you will need to install a command line interface. So this one is for Linux, this one is for Windows, and it will also install an emulator for you. I would also recommend you to install a Docker, because this way it will be easier to run a specific version of emulator that you will be sure that it's gonna work. Otherwise you might hit exactly the same thing that we had last time that we were trying to stream, when the version changed and it simply stopped accepting our calls. Okay, so once this one installed, you will also need to go to GitHub, Flow SDK, and you will need to install Dev Wallet. Let me share you a link with you. So this is Dev Wallet, and this link to CLI. Alright, so once this is installed, let's try to create a new project, and it's gonna be React app. Okay, and we want to do it in code along, yes, here. And let's call it simple interaction part 1. Okay, looks good. We don't need the TypeScript for this one. We're gonna simply press create. So WebStorm gonna run npx create React app script for us. It's gonna download latest version of create React app and also all the necessary packages for these to run. And while it's doing its things, what we can do here, yes, you see it's installing everything. What we can do, we can go to terminal and run the following command, which is flow init. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna create a flow.json file, and here it's gonna specify the private key for your service account and this address for service account. So this private key will be used by the dev wallet to create new accounts for you. Okay, let's see. Is it running? Okay, it's still running. So let's just wait. In the meantime, we're gonna create a new repository here. It's gonna be public. We don't need to do this one. We're just gonna create a repository. Yep, and I will also share a link with you guys so you can go and check it. We don't need this one. Yes, this is Dev Wallet provider. So this is how you're gonna install it. It's gonna be installed globally. You see, this is basically our flow.json file, and here you can add additional options if you want to change the port where your emulator will be expecting. calls and also a port for it. But we don't really need it since this is a default one. Right, okay, so this one's good. This one is still installing. What we can do in the meantime. Oh, right, we put it in the wrong folder, so we just put it inside here. Yeah, sure. Let's just wait a little bit. Yeah, while it's doing it, we can do what we can do. We can actually go here. Yeah, it's better actually to wait until it's gonna be finished. So we're also gonna use two other packages from Flow.js SDK. One is FCL and another one SDK. So FCL stands for Flow Client, which will help us to interact with the network. So there are a lot of helper methods that will handle signing transactions and also sending them and getting response, decoding response, all this stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, nobody's answering us. Yeah, sure. Still running. Should be any minute here. Okay. Okay, very good. So, oh, some more. Okay. So in the meantime, okay, I still want to do something, so let's just wait a bit more. Okay, perfect. Now it's actually finished. So, okay, yeah, sure. Nope, we don't change it. Okay, let's move our flow file here. Oh my god, yeah, sure. Okay, let's move our flow file here. Yes, refactor. So, what we're gonna do if we're gonna open the terminal, let's see, git status. Okay, this is not a git repository, obviously. We can call git init. Yep, perfect. Let's actually go here and add some more. So, git status. Yeah, sure. Actually, what we want to do is let's just open this folder again. I don't really like to work from here. Personal development. Code along, and then yeah, open this one. Okay, cool. Let's open our terminal. Let's check. We have a git ignore. Let's also remove idea folder, and you can like put like cache here, for example. Sure. Git status. Git add all, git commit m, remove idea folder from repository. sure. Let's add the remote here. Post and go. And let's push all our code to master branch. Alright, cancel. I don't want to do it from here. Nope. Yeah, sure. I will just use my Git Kraken. Okay, while it's still doing this, what we can do? Yeah, sure. Okay, let's go to source, let's go to packages on and start our application first. Okay, while it's still running, let's create a new script. Let's call it dev wallet, and what we're gonna do here is we need to set a private key variable. We're just gonna grab it from here. So it's gonna be, and we're gonna call FCL wallet. And another thing we need to do is dev emulator. Let's call it like this. And I will actually go and copy it from another recent project, so I will not mess up stuff. So this will be for Docker. So what we're gonna do is we gonna call our Docker with exactly the same private key, and this will just pull the latest emulator version. So the flow port gonna be 8080. Okay, cool. Should be good. Let's run emulator. So emulator is starting and expecting a request on these two ports, and let's also run our wallet. Okay. The wallet is also should be running now. Okay, yeah, it's running now, and it's also telling what we need to do. Let's just copy all this. We don't need this anymore, we don't need this anymore. Let's go to our app.js. We don't need all of this, we don't really need this stuff. Let's put it div here, and for app we're gonna put this stuff, I'm gonna remove this, and I'm actually missing two things. It's FCL from onFlow. Oh, yeah, it's already here. And we also need SDK. But since we don't really have these packages, we will need to import them now. Okay, and we also need types. Okay, let's go to a terminal, press yarn, and on flow SDK, on flow FCL, and on flow types. Okay. Let's check Discord. Okay, nobody's still responding. This is good. Still good. It's just fun to do it this way as well. So we're fetching the packages for interacting with flow, and while it's running, so what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do is inside of our app we're gonna use use effect, and here we will we don't really want to update. What we're gonna do is gonna return a function which will be FCL current user subscribe, and it's gonna expect another method. Let's call it like handle user. Okay, let's actually implement this method. It will have a single parameter user, and let's just console.log our user, so we'll see what's happening. Okay, let's also now add two other methods. No, we don't need methods. Let's just put two buttons here. One button will be button extra login, and it must be logout. So on login we can put on click handler, and it's gonna call FCL authenticate. Okay, and our second button gonna call on authenticate. Okay, should be good. What I don't like about it, okay, yeah, we're missing a bracket here. Actually go and yarn and depth prettier, so we'll be able to use a prettier okay. Sure. Okay, while it's loading, we will go. Haha! So we have buttons here. So let's also remove this and this. Yep. Create a new file called styles CSS. Yes, let's do it like this. Body display grid. Place item center. Minimum height 100 vertical units. And what else do we need to do? Let's remove all the paddings and margins as well. For our buttons, let's set font size to 24 pixels, padding to 0.25 EM and 1 EM, and we should be good. Yeah, and also let's set a margin right. Let's call it like 1 EM, and button last of type, let's say margin right to 0. Let's see how it goes. Right, we haven't imported it, so let's import style CSS. Boom! Now we have the buttons. Let's add our cursor pointer. So I have a finger next to the buttons. Okay, let's try to press login. So you see, as soon as you press login, you'll see this fancy pop-up, and this is basically our default handling all our communication, and it's also gonna store all our private keys and create new accounts for us. So here we can put like whatever you want. For email and password we'll just put first, so we will be able to differentiate between accounts, and here we're just gonna pass test. Press authenticate. You see some image was pulled from the network, from the internet, and here we can specify a name. Let's call him first. Save our changes, use this profile, cool. So, and if we'll go here, you see this is our user. So this is our user. So handler interesting. Now it's a proxy. Alright, so here it was actually okay. Let's press logout. Sure. Let's output console.log address, and it's going to start a user add field, and we also can output CID, user CID. This is one of the unique fields that will be specified on current user. So if this one is empty, we will know that user is logged out. Okay, let's try again. Let's clear it out. Let's log in. Use this profile, and we can see this address and this CID. And if we log out, the address is still populated, but CID is not. So let's use actually this as login equal yeah, right. So what we can do, we can also do it like this. Const user set user equal use state, and initially user will be null. Okay, so here we're just gonna say if user CID set user to user, else set user to null. Okay. Now let's call user login equal to user CID okay, so what we want to do now, if our user is logged in, so we want to show, okay, if he's not in, we want to show our login button, and otherwise we want to show okay, login, sure, otherwise button, okay, should be like this. Prettier, let's call prettier from node models. Let's prettify. Looks good. Okay, sure. Okay, and if user is logged in, logged out, or logged in, we also should write here's address. So let's put address p class equal address, class name, and here we're gonna say user address. Okay. So let's go back to styles, and address field is going to be font size 16 pixel. Let's remove all the margin from P, and let margin bottom to, I don't know, like 1 em. Font weight bold. Okay, let's see how it looks. See, I don't know. Okay, sure. Okay, let's call it user and user CID. Yep, now it works. Let's press login. It's showing us profile. Let's use this profile. Okay, class name address. Much better. Let's actually do it like 24 pixels. And if we actually will go and console log our user Okay, login, yes. So you'll see inside the identity we have this name first, right? So let's welcome our user. Your address. Let's say welcome. User identity. Name. Okay, save it, refresh it, use this profile. Yay! Call last name and call welcome. Let's make it like H1. Welcome first, yes, your address, nice. Now we want to log out, and it works. So the reason why we need the subscription to the user is that we're gonna use our current user to sign the transactions. But before we do this, what we can actually do is we can also send scripts even without signing them. So let's try to do this. Let's create another method and call it const call simple execute simple script. It will take no argument, it's gonna be asynchronous. What we're gonna do here, so what we gonna do is we're gonna say const response equal await fcl.send, and .send method accepts several parameters. So one of them gonna be a script itself. So I'm gonna write sdk.script, and using backticks we're gonna write some cadence code. So here we're gonna put pub fun method, which is called main. It's gonna return us int. Don't forget to put a space here, otherwise you probably gonna have an error in your emulator output. And here we also want to specify two arguments. So first argument gonna be an int, second argument gonna be an int as well, and we're gonna return a sum of those two arguments. Okay, should be good. Okay, it doesn't like something, right? It doesn't like semicolon. Okay, cool. So what else do we need to put here? We need to put these two arguments. So the way how we're gonna do it is we're gonna put SDK args plural, and this is gonna be an array, and you also need to specify arguments in exactly the same order as they are in the cadence code. So here we're gonna say SDK arg, and then you need to put two parameters. First one is actual value, and second one is the type of this value. So let's say we're gonna put 5, and it's gonna be types int, and second one gonna be SDK arg 7 types int as well. So don't forget that those types should be exactly the same as those types, otherwise you gonna get errors. So here we're gonna say const result equal await fcl decode, and we're gonna pass our response error. Cool. What else do we want to do? We want to yeah, we actually want to return a result here. Execute simple script, sure. Yeah, we don't even need to do it like this, we can do it return fcl decode. So this is gonna be still a promise, so we're good. Inside our application we gonna use another method called script. It's gonna be asynchronous and before it we make another use state, so script result and set script result equal use state null. Okay, here we're gonna say const result equal await execute simple script, and then we're gonna set script result to result of this computation. So as you remember, we don't really need to be logged in order to execute this script, so let's just put a button here, button, it's called execute script, and we just gotta put a click handler and make it into call script. Okay, we need to kind of do it like this. Sure. Let's clear our console. Right, so it's not gonna do us a lot for us, but what we're gonna say, if we have a script result, then we're gonna display it as a script result inside of the paragraph tag. Okay, let's press execute, and we see the output, so this is 12. So let's try to pass some other variables. We can even use it like A, B, and here, okay, we're gonna call script. Here we're gonna say, okay, let's call 10 and 20. Refresh, we have the result. Let's make it slightly more readable. Okay. Computation result, and then let's add a class here. Script result, sure. Script result. Font size 20 pixels, margin bottom 10 pixels. Hey, maybe even more. Looks good. Looks good. So this is how we're gonna execute the scripts. But what if we want to do call it transactions? So transactions are pretty easy as well. What would be a good example for transaction? Let's see. Yeah, so let's hide this thing. Let's say simple transaction. So transaction will not return us anything, but we still will be able to see a result in our emulator output here. So as you can see, this is our previous script execution. So let's do it like this. Let's call it const transaction equal await fcl.send, and here we will need to specify several parameters. Actually, let's start with one here, authorization equal fcl current user. Okay, and here let's actually create a transaction. So here we need to specify our cadence code, so we're gonna say transaction, and inside of the prepare, let me actually refresh my memory. Let's go. Side of the right, let's just grab this thing and put it inside here. Okay, so let's set some tabulation. We don't also need the semicolon, we don't need to execute anything. Okay, and here we're just gonna say log transaction submitted, and we will see this output here. Okay, so transaction also need to know who's gonna pay for it, who's is a proposer of the transaction. So let's add this information. So inside of SDK we have a payer, and it's gonna be authorization SDK proposer, and it's gonna be authorization. We need also SDK authorization, and it's gonna be a list of a single authorization for our user. One last thing that you will need to add is SDK limit. Let's put 100 just in case. So there is no way to calculate this precise number right now, but we will be able to do it later. Okay, let's output console.log transaction. Actually, what we can do, as soon as we receive this one, we can say FCL transaction, no, text, yes, text, text, subscribe, and let me try to refresh my memory from one of the projects. New window, final files.txt, right. So here we're gonna have it here. Text. So as you can see, we can subscribe to the status of the transaction. So subscribe, here we're gonna have a status, and we also need to remember, just a moment, I have it here. Okay. So as you see, there are several variants what's could happen to the transaction. So let's say we want to know when the transaction will be executed. So if FCL transaction is executed, transaction status. We're gonna say console.log transaction executed. Okay. Console.log transaction. Okay, let's check. Is anyone asking question? Okay, nobody asking questions. This is fine as well. So what we're gonna do now, we want to send transaction. So as you can see now, actually the current user authenticated, so we will put it slightly below. So okay, your address, we're gonna say here somewhere, button, submit transaction, and on click we just gonna call our simple transaction. Sure, should be good now. Let's open our output here and let's log in. Use this user. close this one. Now we have submit transaction. Let's press submit transaction, and it's asking if we really want to send this transaction. So this is the code that we wrote. Yes, we're gonna approve it. And as you can see, we see transaction executed. We can also see the hash of the transaction here, so we can later maybe pull the transaction and see what's happened with it. But if we'll go back to our editor, we can also see that the transaction was executed here as well. So it's not really showing us a log here, but I suppose this is because we haven't used verbose flag. Let's actually try to do it right now. So we should go to GitHub, onFlow, Cadence. I think it was Cadence. Emulator. No, should be here somewhere. onFlow emulator code. Okay, it should be here. So this is the link, and this is also all the variables that we can pass to our Docker container. So I'll share a link with you guys now. So yeah, you see, we need to pass this one. Let's use this configuration, go back to, yep, here, close it. Let's say environment equal true. Sure, let's refresh it. Yep, sure. Let's open our dashboard. We have a dashboard. Let's remove this one. Let's remove this one, and let's run our emulator again. Okay, cool. Still works. Let's go back to our application, refresh it, log in again. Yes. Submit transaction with address. Okay, let's see what's happening. I suppose what's happened is that we haven't stopped our dev wallet. So let's try to actually purge our dev wallet. Refresh it. So since we haven't specified what was the name of it, there is a param which will allow you to store your account between restarts of dev wallet, and it's called persist. Yes, there is this flag that you can specify, and it's called persist. Can't really show it like here right now, but we'll try to do it slightly later. So yeah, let's refresh the page again. Let's log in. It will ask us to authenticate. Let's use first test. Authenticate again. First, save changes. Use this profile. Okay, cool. We're in. Let's close. Let's submit transaction. Again, it's asking us to sign the transaction. We're gonna approve it. And transaction was executed. If we go to our editor and back to emulator, you can see right here transaction submitted. So this is exactly our log here. Nice. So next thing what we're gonna do is we want to obviously we want to deploy contracts with JavaScript, right? So let's do this stuff. Let's say const deploy. It can also be asynchronous. And here we will deploy our code to account. Okay, let's actually go to terminal, git status. Okay, we've changed quite a lot of files. Let's add git add packages on and yarn lock. Git commit m add flow SDK packages. Git status, git add, git ignore, git commit m, update git ignore, git add all, git commit m, add code to handle script processing and transaction execution. Okay, let's go back here, open a repo, open repository, go here, personal development, code among, yep, and yep, this is a folder that we want to use, and let's just push it. Yes. And we successfully pushed it to a repo. So now if you will go here, I don't remember if I shared the link with you. Yes, I shared it here. So you'll see the code here deployed. It's actually update readme, we don't need all this stuff. Let's go to overview, use package JSON to launch dev bundling and emulator and dev wallet. Should be good. Commit changes. Sure. Okay, let's go back here. Reset, yes, sure. So, in order to deploy code, let's actually do it right here. So, let's prepare a simple, so the way how you deploy code, you send a transaction to your account and then you specify that you want to set code on that specific account. Let me just grab this part here and deploy. Right, so this is the thing, let's just grab it, let's put it here. Okay, so it slightly need to update it here. So let's say const code equal, and here will be a code of our contract code here. So we also missing let me actually consult one repository here on flow SDK, and there's these packages, and we have this 6 create account. Let's go to source. Alright, so right, so it should be a string. So it's gonna be a transaction, code should be a string, and inside of here we can simply say this line. Okay. Counts at code to code. Cool. Const authorization FCL current user. Okay, we have it here. This is fine. We need to add types here. Okay. Oh yeah, we don't even need to specify. We need to do it differently. We need to say, instead of param, which can be soon deprecated, we're gonna say FCL args, and then it's gonna be a list of arguments, so FCL arg, and then we're gonna say a buffer, pass a buffer here, and types, it's gonna be types string. Okay, it should be good. The proposer gonna be our user, payer gonna be our user, and list of authorization gonna hold only our user. Sure. Let's actually check if we need to specify anything else. So this is gonna be a string. Cool. Yeah, we don't really need to do anything else. So now we need to supply this code. So what we're gonna do, we actually go to playground and yeah, let's use a hello world contract because it's so much easier to do it. So let's grab all the code here, go back here, use backticks for this one, put it here, remove all the comments since we don't need them. Okay, like this. FCL code, yes, deploy hello world. I don't really want hello world, I want to do it hello cadence. Hello cadence should be good. Let's put this one down. Let's collapse our cadence code here. Let's use another one. Okay, and here we gonna do where we're submitting a transaction. Okay, here. Let's call button on click equal deploy hello cadence, deploy hello contract. Okay, this should be good. So simple transaction, what we're gonna do, right, so we're gonna do exactly the same thing. So go back here, instead of returning the transaction, we're gonna say const tx equal await, and this is gonna be our transaction, and if everything is good, we're gonna say contract was deployed. Sure, looks good. Looks good. Let's try it. Go back to application. Let's log in. Use this profile. Now we see deploy hello contract. Property on clear walk. Okay. Yes. Sure. Let's log in again. Use this profile. Let's clear the console. Let's try to submit the transaction. Yes, still works. Clear it. Let's try to deploy a contract, and it's trying to deploy this contract, but okay, code string should be good. Let's try to prove it, and contract was deployed. Yes, let's go back to our editor and actually open you see the transaction was submitted, executed, flow count called updated, so we've successfully updated the code. Now if I actually go back to playground and try to grab this transaction here, okay, let's import and let's call it const ping account async const. We need authorization from our current user, and then we need const tx equal fcl transaction, using backticks to specify transaction, and as you understand, we gonna load it from a different account, so we actually need to go back here, use this profile, and then grab this address. So instead of 0x1, we're gonna use this one. Okay, transaction execute, log hello. Sure. Let's just copy paste here again. Transaction was executed. Okay, ping account should be good. Okay, so this is the code of the transaction. Okay, so so we need to do it 5cl set await, and this is gonna be a list. Okay, fcl proposer gonna be authorization, fcl payer gonna be authorization, fcl authorizations gonna be a list of a single authorization. Okay, we're good. Okay, ping account, and then again we just gonna wait while it executes, so subscribe to updates in the status of this transaction. So as soon as we gonna do it on click, we're gonna say ping account, ping hello button, and I forgot angle bracket here, should be good now. So try to log in, use this profile. Oh, a lot of stuff, right? So at this moment we already deployed the contract, so if we press this one we should be okay. Let's press ping hello, yes, and transaction was executed. Going back to our editor, open a running log here, and as you can see we have hello cadence stuff that we specified in our contract. Right here. So we successfully called the method hello on our hello world contract using add transactions. So this pretty much it, covers all the basic interaction with Flow blockchain. So let's try to recap what we've done. So using Flow client, we've connected to our dev wallet, then we've successfully executed a simple script and were able to pass several arguments into it. And then we were able to send a simple transaction which would just output a log into emulator console, but we also subscribe to changes of transaction status. So if the transaction was not executed, for example, here we would be able to show the user some pop-ups saying, okay, you need to submit transaction again. And then we've deployed a new contract code using another transaction which sets the code on the account. And after that we successfully executed another transaction which took a contract code on our account and called a method on it. So that's about it. So let me try. Let's see, someone's asking questions or not. Oh, yeah, maybe not. Okay, so people are still not asking questions. Let me just try to validate all the code. Add code to handle contract deployment and colon hello method. Sure. And I will just push it back to a repository where you can pick it up later. So with this you can do pretty much anything by just like writing the proper cadence code. You can just go to one of these tutorials, let's say mint fungible tokens, and go here and then copy, for example, fungible token contract, deploy it, and then go through these transactions, and you can set up simple wallet to interact between two users, for example. And this is exactly the thing that we're gonna do next time. But for today, that's about it, guys. Thank you for not being with me. It was still fun to do it. Hopefully next time we'll see more people. Have a good day.